want to talk a little bit about autoimmunities and risk factors or triggers that might lead to an autoimmunity. So this is a great video for somebody who might already have an autoimmunity and is wondering, what triggered it, what caused it, and how can I maybe reverse that process, as well as somebody who knows they have autoimmunities that run in their family and they want to do everything that they can to not have that autoimmunity manifest itself. So I'm going to talk about 4 different common triggers and risk factors that I see leading to autoimmunity in my office. Number 1 would be genetics. So of course we can't control the genes that we are given, but we can control what turns those genes on and what turns those genes off. So one of my favorite sayings is, genes load the gun, but the environment pulls the trigger. So all kinds of things that we can do to stop that trigger from pulling. Number 2 would be infection. So almost all autoimmunities have at least one association with some sort of pathogen or infection. Some common ones would be Epstein-Barr virus, also known as mono, cytomegalovirus, Lyme disease is another one, as well as some E. coli, some strep throats, different things like that. So lots we can do to build up our immune system to stop that infection from maybe even infecting us, but also if it does infect us, can we decrease the severity of that infection to likely, not trigger that autoimmune response? Number 3 would be chronic inflammation. So chronic inflammation is really at the root of almost all chronic diseases, especially autoimmunities. And an autoimmune process is a very inappropriate, incorrect, response by our immune system, and chronic inflammation can really trigger that incorrect response by our immune system. Some of the biggest chronic inflammation causers would be, of course, our standard American diet. So full of sugar, processed food, chemicals, additives, gluten, conventional dairy, different things like that are very inflammatory to the body. Chronic stress is also very inflammatory. Toxins, heavy metals, chemicals in our environment, and infections, like we already mentioned, and leaky gut, which takes us to number 4. Number 4 would be leaky gut. So our inside world and our outside world are separated by our GI tract, by that intestinal lining, and it's only made up of one single layer of cells. That's good because it, allows us to absorb nutrients and proteins and fats and all the building blocks that we need, to make everything and do everything in our body, but it also, makes it more prone to damage. So a good visualization would be, here's your intestinal lining. These are the cells. And as all those chronic inflammatory things come through, we start to get damage to that intestinal lining. Things start to break apart. And now we kind of have those microscopic holes in our GI lining. And now we have all these things that are coming through that aren't supposed to be coming through, whether it's undigested proteins, infections, inflammatory molecules, etc. Our body sees that as foreign and now mounts an immune response to it. So lots of times we see those proteins and those, those pathogens, their proteins look just like proteins in our body, whether it be, the cartilage in your joints or your thyroid or the, the myelin sheath around your nerves, whatever it is. Those can look similar to whatever, your body's attacking in your GI tract. And then now you've got your immune system attacking your own body. And that's something that we call molecular mimicry. Very common with leaky gut, very common with infections, triggering autoimmunity. So those 4 things, genetics, infections, chronic inflammation, and leaky gut are some of the biggest triggers that we see for autoimmunity. So someone that has that, autoimmune process happening already, it's really important to work with a functional medicine doctor to help identify what those causes might have been. Might be something that I listed, might be something else, but that way they can help, help manage, help even maybe reverse that autoimmune process that's going on. Or for somebody who knows they're genetically prone to it and it runs in their family, working with a functional medicine doctor to stop those, things from happening, lowering inflammation, improving our immune system, healing our GI tract. All those things are very, very important to not even have the autoimmunity, manifest itself in the first place.